Kyle Madson always does as he joins us once again from the broom closet of
It's my
95.7
office, sir.
Oh, that's your, it's your office, huh?
Yeah, it's my office right now.
Okay.
Well, I mean, for like, I'm gonna at some point I'm gonna hang some stuff up. It's gonna really be my place.
That's nice. I like it. We don't have offices, so it's a good look for you.
I don't know what it is.
Congratulations.
I don't know what office is.
Yeah, thank you.
On a business card, does it say Kyle Madson, 95.7 The Game? I have an office.
No, it says producer and vibes curator.
Nice.
That's my new job title.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
curator
like
of
that.
vibes.
I'm with that. I'm with
big
that.
vibes guy.
You are a big vibes guy. I'm with that. I love it. I love it.
Awesome.
A number of different things we want to dive into. We'll get to the 49ers in just a couple of minutes. I want to bring you into a conversation we were having earlier. We were just kind of looking at the West, talking about the Warriors. Warriors obviously dealing with some struggles right now. They've lost 3 in a row, lost to the Dallas Mavericks. Is this let me be a better broadcast journalist and phrase this a different way. What would you attribute their struggles to?
Not doing a bit. I think that Draymond Green's absence is playing a pretty significant role.
Okay, so for full transparency, the question I was going to ask you was, is this all about Draymond's absence? But I didn't want to feel like I was framing it for you to either praise or trash Draymond, so I tried to change the phrasing of the question.
Well, and you weren't asking a yes or no question, which, like you said, is the proper broadcaster thing to do, and that's why you guys are pros.
Journalists, that's right.
So, no, but that's the thing is, like, does Draymond's absence matter? Like, for sure. Like, if you're playing Draymond Green 35 minutes a game instead of a combination of Gary Payton II and Nemanja Bjelica and some Juan Toscano Anderson, like, yeah, your team's going to be better. But they have some issues right now that I think go beyond Draymond. And maybe Draymond Green being on the court is going to make everybody just that little bit better. But like, they're giving up 115 points a game right now, which is not great. Steph Curry didn't take a shot in the fourth quarter against the Mavs. And the Mavs were just like, yeah, we're going to take Luka and another long defender, and we're going to throw him at Steph and make him give up the ball and make somebody else beat them. Klay Thompson's not doing that right now. Jordan Poole's not doing that right now. And those are the two guys that they were going to lean on to score points. And maybe Draymond coming back helps them, get into their offense a little better, and he sets a good moving screen and Steph gets open here and there. But I think that they have deeper problems in terms of being a championship contender.
Right.
Than just Draymond Green coming back.
Okay.
I thought when Klay was coming back, I thought it was a little, I want to say pie in the sky. I ain't trying to be disrespectful to nobody, but just, Klay's coming back, like everything's going to be great. Number one, he was going to have a learning curve of trying to get back into things. But I also looked at it as the Jordan Pooles, the Gary Payton IIs, the Damian Lees. They had been accustomed to a certain role, and they were going to have a lot of minutes and shots taken away from them with Klay coming back. And there was going to be a bit of an adjustment period for that. Initially, it didn't look like that was an issue at all because everything was just going smoothly. Klay was playing great. Do you think that's caught up to them at all? Just everybody trying to find their groove and Klay trying to find his groove as well?
Yeah, I think so. Klay's taking a ton of shots right now. He's averaging, what is he at? 15 shots a game in like 25 minutes a game, which is nuts. So yeah, I think there's something to that. Like, Gary Payton II is still a really good defender, and he's a really dogged defender, and that's why he's been starting and playing a lot of minutes. But you have Klay shooting 15 times a game and not shooting it particularly well. Like, it's very clear he's still trying to get in a groove, and I think that that's part of why he's shooting so much, or part of the reason why he's shooting so much. And I think Jordan Poole, to your point, is having a really hard time adjusting to that. Like, he is a irrational confidence type of guy. And when you take that away from him and say, hey, you need to limit yourself within the scope of the offense. We're going to limit your minutes. We're going to limit your role. And when you're on the court, we don't want you shooting it every time you get it. But that's what he was doing early in the year. He was a shot creator. He was making tough shots at the basket. He was hitting threes at a pretty regular rate. And now that they've pulled back the reins a little bit on that, he's struggled to adapt to that role. But that's on Steve Kerr. Like, that's something that Steve Kerr's been really good at, is sitting guys down and saying, hey, this is your role. This is how you're going to help this team succeed. And that hasn't worked so much lately. Maybe they figure it out by the postseason, but it's hard to be super confident in that right now based on how they've looked over the last month and a half.
Yeah, they're 15-14 without Draymond. I didn't realize that's steep. That's
pretty mediocre.
That's a hell of a stat. I'm gonna have to change my whole narrative on Draymond Green.
Yes.
Another stat. Not publicly, like and certainly not in front of you.
Face.
Is what it is.
Also, another stat of note: the Warriors are half a game ahead of the Grizzlies right now.
The Grizzlies are good, bro.
So yeah, they're
like
they're legit.
Is there somebody you want to watch more in the NBA right now than Ja?
Yes.
Yeah, there certainly is.
Aside from Domantas Sabonis.
Well, no, no. I was being it's Jason Tatum. I love Jason Tatum.
Okay, that's fair.
But point valid.
Yeah.
Yes, Ja Morant is
must see TV.
Ja's otherworldly right now.
It's phenomenal.
That's what I should really not like the Grizzlies because they're kind of coming for the Warriors spot. But I don't. How do you begrudge that team? They're so fun.
Nah, they're really good. I think they no, it's no knock on them because I think they're probably a year ahead of schedule. But I don't think this is a team that, I hear a lot of people talking about them going to the Western Conference Finals and things like that. I don't think in a playoff series that they are better than Phoenix, Utah, or Golden State.
I think they're better than Golden State in the playoff series, but I think I said this last week, just because of how they match up.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they're a really tough matchup for what Golden State wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
But in a vacuum, I think maybe you're right. Does that concern Kings fans at all? Okay, the Warriors are starting this decline where they're going to kind of be, at least middle of the pack in the West, if anything. But you have the Grizzlies on the come up. I think the Mavs are going to be good as long as Luka's there. I think the Suns are going to be really good even in the post CP3 era. The West is going to be stacked for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to be concerned about if you're a Kings fan. There's a million things. You could write them all down, put them in a hat, and draw them out. They'd all be accurate. There's plenty to be concerned about with the Kings. I mean, the plus side, I guess, to that is I have no idea where San Antonio's going. I feel like Greg Popovich is going to retire after this year. He'll get the all-time wins mark and. He can retire comfortably. Of course, I think Kenny made a compelling case as to why that may not happen. Portland, yeah, I ain't buying it. So, and then the Lakers, this thing ain't getting fixed next year. So, you look at the teams that are in that top six, and I'm not gonna pencil in Minnesota moving forward. Minnesota's gonna have to prove to me they can do it for another year.
Love Anthony Edwards, though.
But I mean. Denver, Dallas, Utah, Memphis. They're not going anywhere. And even Golden State. It's not like Golden State's dropping down to 11th here.
Utah. Keep your eye on Utah.
You just had Utah beating Golden State.
No, I'm talking about the future. Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley will be gone. Keep your eye on what happens in Utah in 2 years or so.
I think Quinn Snyder's a really good coach, though.
No, he's really good, but they might lose Donovan. They might lose Donovan. They might lose Mike Conley. They might I think the time is now for them. Now. And what that means, can they win it? Are they good enough to win a championship or get to the finals? I don't know about all that. But they're not Denver, where Denver is a young team, maybe going up. Utah is where they're going to be, and they got to cash in as much as they can right now. Because I think in a year or two, we might see them, as the one team that gets out of this whole thing. I have another Warriors question.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Gary Payton II, Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, Damian Lee. They're all on the Moses Moody. They're all on the Warriors next year?
No. I don't know exact contract situations, but it wouldn't surprise me if Damian Lee is gone. He's just, maybe he's a nice guy to have at the end of your bench, but I think if Damian Lee is playing real minutes for you, you're probably not a championship contender. Gary Payton II, he might be one of those guys that gets more money than the Warriors can pay him elsewhere. But Clay's back for sure, and Moses Moody I think is back for sure, unless Moody really comes on here at the end of the year and plays well and gets some postseason minutes and plays well, and they can center a trade package around him for somebody that can help him win next year. Then maybe
might help you guys win next year.
Huh?
Rashawn Holmes might help you guys win next year.
Nope, that's not happening. Sorry, man.
He really wants to. He really hates Rashawn Holmes. He just frames it in other ways. That's all it is. Kyle Madson, the soon-to-be Mr. Heather Kirkpatrick, with us here on KC. Let's shift
true.
our focus.
It's funny because it's true.
Let's shift our focus here to the San Francisco 49ers. What did you think of John Lynch's comments yesterday about the 49ers have budgeted for Jimmy Garoppolo, and there's a scenario where he could be back to compete with Trey Lance in training camp?
So the thing about that is, no, they haven't. So the way, I don't want to bore everybody, but bear with me for 10 seconds.
We got you.
Your effective cap space is how much money you have available after you have 51 players signed.
Mm-hmm.
The maximum amount of effective cap space the 49ers can have on March 16th when the official league year opens is negative $11 million. Do you know why? Because they've been budgeting to remove $25 million of that via Jimmy Garoppolo exiting. So they've not budgeted. No. They can restructure some deals. Eric Armstead can get restructured. You can extend Jimmy Ward. Those are the two most popular ones. You can extend or cut Samson Ebukam. There's different. I don't think they're going to cut it, but you can extend him and kick some of his money down the road a little bit. So there's ways that they can free up some cap space. But with a Deebo Samuel deal coming and a Nick Bosa deal coming, they need to re-sign Laken Tomlinson. I think they need to have that. They need to have money for that. Like that's all where the Jimmy Garoppolo money was going to be. And you're not keeping Jimmy Garoppolo to compete as the backup at 20. It's a $27 million cap hit if the Niners keep him. You're not keeping a backup for $27 million. Right. That's insane. They're not. They've made some bad moves. They're not a dumb team, and that's a dumb team thing to do. Like when Mike Tannenbaum today, the former Jets GM, he was such a bad GM that the New York Jets said no, thank you. He's like, yeah, maybe you keep him and Trey Lance beats him out. No, that's not how team building works.
Right.
Like,
and that's why you're on ESPN. That's why you're not running a football team.
Right. Yeah, he was with the Saints like in '96 when they were the Aints, and he was like with the Browns in the late '80s, early '90s.
And he got a third job.
He got
Listen to what you just said, and someone gave him another chance.
Come on.
So it's very tough. So yeah, I don't think, because even with the injury, so Jimmy has $7.5 million guaranteed for injury. So basically, if they cut him tomorrow, they owe him $7.5 million. So it'd be a $7.5 million dead cap hit. They'd save $18 million against the cap. They could use that. Like, it's not trade or keep. The idea that like none of these, Adam Schefter, Ryan Clark, Ian Rappaport, Mike Tannenbaum, nobody's allowing for the release him scenario, which is on the table. That's way more. It's trade him one, cut him two, 10 other things, and then keep him. Like, they're not keeping Jimmy Garoppolo. They're not.
There might be a plot to make Jimmy Garoppolo disappear before there's a keep him on the roster plan.
Right. There's a Netflix documentary to be made about the disappearance of Jimmy Garoppolo. It's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo buried next to Jimmy Hoffa, and that's how it's going to go. That's on the table before, like, yeah, we'll keep us 27 mil. That's not happening. Crazy. That's insane. Never say never, but that's never going to happen.
And it's really crazy that nobody is even mentioning this. Like, what homework, what research are they doing where, you know what, look, guys, I know we're talking about Jimmy, but it's crazy to think that they would keep him on the roster. There's no way that's happening. But they're like, yeah, well, and we don't know if Trey can throw the ball, so they may just have to keep Jimmy. Like, what are you guys doing all day?
And maybe it's people talking to the Niners and taking the Niners info, and the Niners are doing the information merchant thing. Fine. Maybe that's out there. But this notion that Trey's just not ready. Okay, like I'll allow for that because week 17, it wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. But he's going to have a full offseason to work on stuff. He's going to get all the reps in OTA. He's going to get all the reps in training camp. He's going to get plenty of reps in preseason. And then at some point, like, you just have to play. Like, there's certain things you're not going to learn unless you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the thing is it's like, yeah, he's not ready, but he's not ready because he hasn't played.
Right.
Yeah. So there's going to be those hiccups. There's going to be a learning curve, and they're going to have that learning curve in either 2022 if he plays or 2023 if he plays. And I figure you should probably start that clock sooner than later.
Hey, so sorry about that, Dan. I just bring the names out here, right? I just bring the names out. I get the ideas. You tell me if schematically it could work, financially it could work. It looks like Amari Cooper is probably going to be on the market. Talk to me here. This is a playmaker. This is the type of guy I'm talking about. Amari Cooper. What we looking at here?
Nah.
Okay.
No. Like, I get, like, you're right. Amari Cooper's a good player, and he would make the 49ers better. But they don't have, like, if they're going to keep Jimmy Garoppolo, like, they're not going to have enough room to sign Amari Cooper.
So
they're not going to keep him. I'm joking. But no, they're not going to have, like, that's the kind of move that it's like, okay, that's great. But when you're looking at the list of things the 49ers need to do this offseason, is Amari Cooper going to make them that much better? Like, I don't think so. Like, Amari Cooper, like what's the hallmark with, like, George Kittle? Like, George Kittle is going to box. Like, he's going to block. After he catches, he's going to be hard to tackle. Deebo Samuel, same thing. Brandon Ayuk improved his blocking a lot. Jawan Jennings is a freaking dog. Amari Cooper wants zero smoke. He wants none smoke. And I just don't think that fits with what the 49ers want to do offensively. And he would cost a lot of money to not do those things. And I don't, and he's a really good player. I just don't think it's right.
No.
Why did the Jimmy Garoppolo surgery stuff happen so late? Like, why did this spark up like now during, when the urgency to cut salary and all of that stuff is here with the new league year arriving?
Because I think he was trying to get through the offseason with no surgery. Mm-hmm. He's trying to sign an extension. He doesn't want to go to any team, and play for 1 year and then get free agency. He wants to go to a team and get 3 and 70 or whatever it's going to be.
100, yeah.
He's not getting $100 million. Damien.
Well, he might not now, so I should be able to amend my previous statement because of the shoulder injury. But yes, he would have.
We will know based on the number he does get whether he would have gotten $100 million.
Okay, I will accept that.
So if he's looking for that, he's going to try and not get surgery, because if he goes, yeah, I'm good, I didn't have no surgeries or anything, but now he's having surgery. But the timing this is the reason it stuck out to me, is he gets it now, and they're saying he's going to be able to throw by the end of June, the start of July, so he can ramp up and be ready to go by the end of July when training camp starts. So he went as long as he could without surgery, and then went, all right, it's still not better, and the doctor said, all right, let's cut you open, let's get it done. It doesn't sound like it's going to be anything crazy where it's anything more than a normal procedure. So he should be good to go. I don't know if it impacts his trade value or anything, but
yeah. Okay. Anybody at the combine, stand out to you, or anything jump out of the combine? I hadn't really caught up on the combine. One thing that I have heard through the grapevine and through my Twitter feed is all these wide receivers are just running at light speed. Is that what's going on right now?
I made this joke on the internet. It's like, what do you want?
You're good at that.
Yeah. It was like, it's not a very good joke. I don't know why I prefaced it that way. It's not like a funny thing. It's like, hey, go check me out on Twitter. I say stuff like this. It's just, they're like, dude, they're all superheroes basically. Like, it's like this guy's clocking now. Chris Olave from Ohio State, he was the one that blew everything up, right? 4.26, 4.38 was his official time. Still super fast, not 4.26. The Tyquan Johnson, I think is his name, from Baylor, ran a 4.21 and official 428. But still, I just like wide receiver is just so loaded. Like the way the position is played now in college versus how it's played in the NFL. Like guys are the level of athlete that is coming into the league now is just insane. And I think it's going to translate easier and easier, which is nuts.
I know you wrote about John Lynch, and I think it was Amazon. Did you see the rumored Sean McVay deal with Amazon?
Like 20 mil a year?
Bro, I'm still trying to figure out like what Sean McVay is thinking by not just being like,
dude,
bye.
You can't
All
love
right,
coaching that much.
Here's the thing. Like,
you can't love anything that much.
Here's the thing, bro. Like, Sean McVay is what, 34?
Yeah, he's
35.
Yeah,
he might be older. I think that's what he was like 33 when he started, but he's in his late 30s. He could go get that Amazon bag and be back coaching at like the age John Gruden was when he started with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Like, like he's so young. He could leave coaching and come back and still be so young. Like that's not, like, dude.
And you know what happens when you
can't
leave?
be real, right? Like the rumor deal, it can't be real because what you said makes perfect sense. You're 100% right. You got $100 million that you just passed up. Like it just can't be a real deal.
So John Lynch also apparently passed up an Amazon bag. And do they 2-day ship you your checks when you're with Amazon? You think?
I'd make them.
Like there's just here's a bag of money. We'll be at your house by Monday. I think that's how it goes. But
way Amazon is, I'd want that on the 2-hour delivery.
Yeah, same day, please.
Yeah, I'll take that same day.
And I'll subscribe for 5% off. Thank you for fake laughing at my joke.
No, that was funny. That joke was funny. Yeah, that was good.
No, like John Lynch said, and I thought this was fascinating. He said that basically he turned down that money because he's competitive. He's like, I got into being a GM to compete. And I think there's something to that. Like, you don't become a Hall of Fame safety by not being a super competitive dude that wants to win at everything all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think had the Niners won the Super Bowl in 2019 or won this year, I think he's gone. But I think he looks at this team and he's like, man, I've gotten so close to the pinnacle with this team as the GM. I'm a Hall of Fame player already. This would put me in an echelon of player that just like, it's like John Elway and not that many other people who have been elite players at their position and then also Super Bowl winning general managers, head coaches, whatever it is. Yeah. So I think that's what he's looking at. And he's like, man, I want to win. And I think Sean McVay, whether it makes sense to us or not, looks at it a little bit the same way. Like, dude, I want to compete. Like, that's what I'm doing. I want to win and everything all the time. I want to go back to back. I want to win 3 in a row. Like, I think that's what.
Check your direct deposit statement, fam.
Exactly.
There's your win.
That's the thing. That's the thing is he's still. It's not like Sean McVay is a pauper. Like he's doing fine.
Look, I'll compete again in 5 years.
And you know, when you become a broadcaster and you go away, you're a coach who becomes a broadcaster. You go away, you become a significantly more coveted coach. Yeah, even when you sucked.
That's a great point.
Even when you were terrible, like you get more romanticized the further. He could have signed a second contract for $100 million and gone back to coaching. Oh, they would have been thirsty for him. The Raiders probably would have given him the franchise if he had gone away long enough. That's Kyle Madson. Thanks for hanging out with us, man.